Hello everyone. This video is not about one single placement, not even a new moon or an eclipse or an aspect. It is about the concept of Europe, the European Union, because there are going to be great changes. They want to implement great changes. It took me half a day to look through the original contracts and all those suggestions that the Commission and also the European Parliament is trying to implement actually in the past couple of weeks and months. And if they succeed, it is going to be the end of what we know as the European Union, which was a bad idea. Probably it wasn't a bad idea. I shouldn't say that. Allow me to tell you a couple of ideas about this, and then we will look at the astrology. I promise there will be the astrology is also part of this video. Originally, 6 countries got together in order to form some sort of liaison and around steel, and it was something. The name was something referred to steel and coal. I don't really recall exactly in English, but the fact remains that these 6 basic countries decided after the Second World War, after the 2 carnages of the world wars, that they should, instead of shooting at each other, they should really try to do commerce. So that was the bright idea. And as it developed over the decades, and as more and more countries entered this union, the emphasis was still on nation states who are equal, equal, yeah, and they are going to demolish the in-between borders, while they are trying to keep the outside borders of the EU, and they have free commerce, and there's not going to be duties and taxes, and the people and goods and ideas can float freely within. So that was the original idea, and that looking at that wasn't such a bad one, admittedly. Although, if you look at history, and if you look at particularly at the 3 main nations who was leading from time to time the European Union, you can actually see that there was France, England, Great Britain, I should say, and Germany, and they kept fighting with each other. So when I looked at it a couple of decades ago, I said to myself, okay, fine. So why did these 3 countries reconcile? There must be some kind of ulterior motive so that they did it. And of course, to rob the others blind. That was a bright idea behind it. And that's exactly what they have done over the years, especially Germany, especially when the euro was implemented, because the euro is really the 4th Reich German mark. So if you look at what happened to the countries in the south, Italy, Greece, also Spain, they just got impoverished, and the Germans got very rich by that. Now they are no longer rich, but that's another story. So what was the basic idea of this ever closer union? Because that's what they want. And this kind of free-flowing ideas and money and people, and yes, we could do whatever we want within. Everyone wanted to become an EU member, especially the countries in the Balkan. And the basic idea was threefold. There should be freedom, there should be prosperity, and there should be globalization. This ever closer union simply meant that sooner or later they wanted to have this like a European united Europe, something like that. So like the United States of America, something like that, United States of Europe. That's what they want to push on us. The problem is that we all speak different languages. We are very, very different. The one reason why they flooded us with refugees was to somehow create a mixed population. Look at Karl Popper's ideas, you will find them. Look at George Soros's ideas and how much money he put into the whole project. And they're very near there. So another decade or two, and Europe won't have an entirely white population. It doesn't have anymore. And it's not whiteness. I'm not a racist. But I firmly believe that that cultures don't mix. There's going to be always a stronger culture. And at the moment, the true believers of the faith, the Muslim faith, are very, very strong. They believe in their gods, their God. They believe in their superiority, and they want to implement it on us. And look around what's happening now. So let's take a look at how we can actually model this whole thing in astrology. So the question is freedom, prosperity, and globalization. Can all three exist at once? And my answer is not really, because if you have freedom, you might not have prosperity. If you have prosperity, you definitely don't have freedom, because you do everything in your power to create prosperity. And globalization may kill both. Although there is one single astrological factor that might be interesting for us. We might have to watch it. So for freedom, the main significator, of course, is Uranus, chaos, anarchy, and freedom urges. And so is Pallas Athena, the wisdom asteroid, which denotes some kind of feminine wisdom, subdued, wiser. Yes, there is freedom. She can do whatever she damn well pleases. And she never commits to anyone except for her father, Zeus. And but at the same time, so she also emanates freedom, but it's a very, very different freedom and not at all chaotic. So the main significator is Uranus, but I would add Pallas Athena to the picture. And then prosperity, which is, of course, Venus and Jupiter in different ways, because Venus is money and security and basic needs and basic well-being needs. And Jupiter enlarges everything it touches. It creates some kind of prosperity through belief in your own abilities. So when you are enthusiastic about something, about a project, and you believe in yourself, there's Jupiter in its best. And then globalization is definitely linked to Pluto, the deep state, the power that is behind the apparent power, the true power, the true governing power that is behind the apparent power. And of course, Sadhana as well. Sadhana denotes creation through dissection. And on the ordinary human level in your natal chart, wherever it is and whatever it touches, it shows the ability how to realize what is not working in your own life and toss out the non-working segments of your life and create something new and workable and practical from the remaining bits and pieces. And on a larger scale, it represents the superpower's ability to do away with whatever is not working anymore or is not in their best benefit and interest, and to create something new from scratch, from the bits and pieces that remain. So that's why I kind of link Sadhana to globalization from this viewpoint. Okay. This is a chart for November the 1st. I'm going to show this. This is for noon, and this is in Budapest. It doesn't really matter. We are not going to, again, I can't get away. Oh, finally, yes, somehow. Can I do this? I'm doing this via Zoom, and there's this when I'm sharing something, there's this big thing telling you what to do, and I finally disappeared. So I managed to disappear now. So here's the November 1st chart, only with the participants that I mentioned to you, and it actually it's not really relevant because I just wanted to show you some basic pattern, and here it is. Jupiter is currently in Taurus. And we could say that it enlarges everything that is linked to Taurus: well-being, harmony, money, love affairs. But of course, Jupiter can also enlarge the big problems. And we know quite well that there's a huge problem with the current financial system. It is going to be in Taurus, stay in Taurus until May 24th, 2024, so until the middle of next year. And then it will move into Gemini from May 25th and will remain there. Jupiter is going to then enlarge whatever is linked to Gemini, which is commerce and media, and I mean the mainstream legacy media. They are going to be blown out of proportions. And then Uranus will be in Taurus all next year. So it will have still a long stay in Taurus. And Uranus has a different effect. It's going to disrupt everything it touches. And whichever sign it is, Uranus simply completely demolishes things that are linked to that sign. Harmony, well-being, security, monetary systems are going to, are demolished in approximately 7 years. It stays 7 years in one sign. So that's what's happening. Interesting enough, in 2024, there's going to be a conjunction between Jupiter and Uranus. It occurs every 13 years, 13, maybe sometimes 14, sometimes 13 years. And there's a mini generation who is very, very successful. Usually those born with Jupiter, Uranus, if it's prominent, or it could be personalized, these are very bright and very successful people, simply because Jupiter enlarges the creative ideas, the flashes of inspiration of Uranus. But at the same time, if we look at it from a mundane scale, it could actually amplify chaos as well. That's the problem. Pluto is currently in Capricorn. It just went back to Capricorn, it just turned around and is now direct. And it will be in Capricorn, stay in Capricorn until January the 20th, 2024. And then it will move into Aquarius. It was already in Aquarius for a brief period, for just 2 months, and now it's the same thing that's going to happen. It will be in Aquarius from January 21st to September 1st. Then, as it retrogrades back into Capricorn on the 2nd of September, there's going to be a brief stay in Capricorn until November 18th, and then again it will move back into Aquarius for good from November 19th. For the next 20 years, it will be in Aquarius. Wherever Pluto is trying to kind of completely transform. And in the last couple of, 15, 16 years it was, or it still is, but those years in Capricorn, Pluto was kind of trying to demolish the power structures, the rigid power structures in the world. It did happen in many ways. If you look around and you see the dysfunctional governments throughout Europe with these bloody rainbow coalitions. Look at Germany. There's a 3-partner coalition government. They hate each other. They have totally different sets of values, and they're trying to govern. They are not able to. It's falling apart, really. And this is what you see everywhere, where you have a stable government with a big backup from the people. Those are successful. The others are just fighting with each other or imitate governing. Nothing is happening. So actually that's what was in Capricorn. And now when it moves into Aquarius for good, it could have many effects. And I always teach that, you should go back and see what occurred last time, and this was 250 years ago when Pluto was in Aquarius, and it wasn't a nice period of time at all, because that was the French Revolution, that was the Industrial Revolution, tons of dead people, tons of misery, and Pluto will definitely transform things that are linked to Aquarius, maybe the internet, maybe all kinds of other stuff that will link to it, telecommunications, for instance, but also ideas. And Aquarius is known for rigid ideas, rigid theories. It's the theory-making sign. And of course, the social well-being sign. Those are people who have strong Aquarian features, always want to reform the society, and they always want to do this very vehemently, in a very aggressive and violent way. Even if I don't want to do it, you should do it because I know it's best for you. No, it's not. And so we will see things like that. We will also see a very strong ideological brainwashing. It's already happening. I visited a friend a couple of days ago. We celebrated her birthday, and her son was there with his wife, and these people live in the States. And the guy, who is very smart, and he's a good boy. He's a good, nice boy. I've known him for 25 years. He started to give me the ideas of the woke ideology, and he firmly believed it. And I was just listening to him, and I didn't even enter into a debate. I kind of tried to show I loved him off. All my weapons was, because he was so brainwashed and he was so vehement about it, that I just looked at him and just said, okay, if you believe this, it's good for you, but believe me, you're not right, because it has no basis what you're saying. But anyhow, it was a shocking experience, because I know that to me, and as well as my friends, to my friends, bringing up children was sacrosanct. We gave them ideas, we gave them good education, and to see them divert from those ideas that we gave them, and adopt stupid, crazy, woke ideas, and it's I don't even know what to say. So, and if you think about revolution, and of course, Uranus is linked to all sorts of revolution. Any and every revolution in history was done by young children, young people. Why? Because think about it: a 50-year-old has already family, some wealth, a home, maybe half a car, couple of children. He doesn't want to go to the streets and have a revolution. Those who are young, who don't own anything, who don't actually even have, they're not in a committed relationship. Of course, they are bored. Of course, they kill each other and themselves for some kind of crazy idea. So that's the problem. And our new generation is really dangerous, because they are self-righteous, they are very stupid, they have very little knowledge of things. They learn from the internet and accept at face value whatever they read and whatever they are being told. And if you read 10 or 20 articles of the same ideas, and you don't fact check it, you're lost. And that's what's happening to our young people. So anyhow, we will see what Pluto will do. It's important for you to remember that no same astrological placement is ever there. So if you go back, let's say, 10,000 or 100,000 years, you won't find the same configuration at all. So just by itself, that Pluto is moving into Aquarius, to me, is scary, but it may be a good thing after all. I strongly believe that Pluto brings the shit up in order to transform it. Let's hope it does. Sedna is currently in Gemini. It's retrograding. This is Sedna. And it is at the 0 degrees something, 13, 14, something like that in Gemini. And it will stay in Gemini until the 21st of November. Then it will move back into Taurus, where it has been there for 60 years or something. And from November the 22nd until next year, April 27th, it will be in Taurus. And then it will move back into Gemini from April 28th, and for 4 decades, it will be staying in Gemini. And Sedna denotes creation through dissection. And as I said, the Pluto-Sedna trine, which I do have one video out there, but I will make more, because there's going to be 2 exact hits between Pluto and Sedna. And I think it's one of the most important karmic astrological features of next year, those 2 trines. One occurs in earth signs, so at the and erratic at the very end of Taurus and Capricorn. And then both move into the air signs, and there's going to be another trine in air signs in Gemini and Aquarius. And I think those are very relevant aspects, because Sedna, as I said, is deeply linked to globalization by the fact that if you have power, then you can reconstruct society. That's what's happening in front of our eyes. And then Pluto is the powers that be, the true power behind the apparent one. So the two of them, and the trine, the trine, according to Bernadette Brady, and I believe her completely, that in forecasting, a trine simply means movement without friction. Something is happening very fast. So all the obstacles are taken away and something will happen very fast. And what they want to do is this world government. So the idea behind globalization was that for 20 years, they allowed us to get used to free travel, cheap goods, cheap this, cheap that. And so we got used to it, the idea that we can move freely and everything is at our disposal. And now what they want to do under this idea, to have a world government and then tell you what to do. And as they say at the World Economic Forum, by 2030, you will own nothing and you will be happy. How can you be happy if you don't own anything? So that's, of course, bull. And these two wars that are raging at the moment kind of put, I think, the whole idea into a hold, but let's not fool ourselves, because what is happening is they are trying to impoverish us. They are trying to really impoverish us. And then the world government can step in and say, oh, by the way, here we are and we are going to save you. So that's what I suspect. Anyhow, and the two minor players, Venus and Pallas Athena, you probably know about it, that Venus's orbital period is 225 days, 8 months approximately, and Pallas Athena has an orbital period of 4.62 years. So these are minor players. But interesting enough, in the November 1st chart, you see the retrograde Jupiter, Uranus, and Sedna. And the Sedna Pluto trine should make you wonder, because that is a quincunx in energetic levels. Pluto is in Capricorn and Sedna is still in Gemini. So Gemini and Capricorn are 150 degrees apart. So that is a trine, which is quite tight, but still has the energy, the flavor of a quincunx. And then you have this mini engine, a quincunx, a semisextile, and a trine. It's really like a wedge. And I don't know that other people use wedge for something else, so I shouldn't use that. So I could use it as a mini engine. And it is by Uranus, Pallas Athena, and Venus. So the two freedom urgers or freedom implementers, and Venus, the harmony. So that's how the energy patterns on November the 1st play out with these ideas. And yes, I think that with the Pluto Sedna trine, you might actually create some sort of prosperity through globalization, as we have seen it. But at the same time, it's not going to be a freedom. So when you are free, you are completely free of your obligations, which means that no, you don't want to prosper, because you want to be free. If you want to prosper, you need to put energy, effort, and industrialism into your things, and then you're not free, believe me. And with globalization, you're definitely not going to be free. When a small, selected elite, very powerful, very rich people are going to govern the world, you won't have any say in the matter. So we need to actually do everything we want. If we don't want this, we have to fight against it, and we have to do everything in our power on a personal level to fight it. Good luck with it. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.